Hey guys, so it's here bringing you another video. Now, welcome to something not really different. We do quite a lot of talking videos about the state of the game and the dev blog updates, but this one is a direct reaction to a video Riot just uploaded. I don't know if I'll be able to get this video out tonight. It might be tomorrow, because the crazy thing is I have like a week's worth of content already recorded ahead of time. I've just been very productive recently, but I'm going to try and kind of fit this in somewhere. Because obviously it's going to be a kind of a point people are going to be asking me, Huz, what do you think of this? So I will say, I think I'm allowed to say next week I actually do have a meeting with Riot. It's kind of the meetings that I've had in the past I've told you guys about, where they invite some core creators who do kind of cover game balance and talking about the game health, and they put us directly with the people in charge, and we have a big old meeting about everything. And the topic is preseason, where this is going to kind of talk about what they're planning, is from what I can tell. I've not watched this yet. I just saw like in the description there's like a little bit of like a breakdown of what they're doing. And I did see on my Discord server, one of my Twitch subs was like, Huz is not going to like this. So all I'll say is I think Season 11, and I don't think this is any surprise to pretty much anybody, it's been terrible. Like, it's been my least favourite season of all time. I think the items were awful. There's too much damage in the game, which in basically all respect has taken a lot of skill out of the game. When you can just one-shot everything in a couple of abilities, there's no skill to that. That's it. There's no outplay, there's no skill. You're now having stat check champions like Tryndamere taking over because of how strong the items are. So I hope we hear something about they're going to be toning down the damage, whether we hear that in this video or in that meeting that I've got upcoming. I will, by the way, do a video about that meeting, about like how did it go, what was said and all that. That will come probably sometime next week or whenever the embargo officially is, or when I'm allowed to talk about that. But yeah, so what I would say is I'm hopeful for Season 12, or Season 2022. I don't know why, but they're not calling them like Season 10, 11, 12 anymore. They're going by the year name. But I am apprehensive at the same time. A lot of people I know have quit the game. I've had very brief conversations with some Rioters, and some of them are unhappy with the game. But yeah, hopefully just Riot knows it's been a bit of a rough one. It would be weird if Riot is not in that mindset, but we'll see. So, this is one of the... I don't know, like, her official job title. Maybe she'll say it.
SaveLocked here on behalf of the league team.
SaveLocked.
We have a lot to cover today, including our plans for preseason, challenges, and game modes. But first, let's talk about the state of the game.
It's bad.
Overall, we're pretty happy with the state of League this season. But before we get into the details, let's dive into a topic that's been pretty popular lately.
What the fudge? I nearly swore. They're happy with the state of the game? Well, okay, what I would say... Oh, God. What I would say is maybe this isn't surprising that Riot is happy about it. Why? Because they haven't changed it. So Riot may be happy with it. That doesn't mean we all are. Because, you know, why haven't they fixed the mid, or changed the mid meta? Why haven't they changed the items? Why haven't they toned down the damage? Because that's what Riot wants. Like, clearly. If Riot didn't want that, they would have changed it by now. So I guess maybe that isn't a surprising thing for her to say, that Riot is happy with it, because again, if Riot wasn't happy with it, they would have changed it already. They would have changed it months ago, but they haven't. So yeah, like, I think a lot of us are unhappy, but Riot, I guess, is... Oh, that worries me though. I'm hopeful for Season 12, but if Riot's happy with Season 11...
Which is new champion balance. When we
bad.
look at the data, we actually see that new champions have been pretty balanced on release.
The data! That's
with the
stupid
exception
word.
of Dr. Mundo. That said, there's more to healthy gameplay than just win rates, and we're still hearing that new champions feel unfair to play against, particularly when it comes to complex abilities or overloaded kits. If we're being completely honest, we don't think our champions have overloaded kits overall. But that being said, there have been times when we've given new champions too many tools and had to pull back later to give them more clear weaknesses. For example, Samira's ability to dash to allies was removed because it provided too much safety. Combined with her missile blocker, it made
Not the champions we're worried about, to be honest.
Especially since that's one of her main forms of counterplay.
Talk about Viego and
Another
Yone.
thing we consider when we hear a champion feels bad to play against is their intended complexity. We try to make a healthy mix of high, medium, and low complexity champions. In this way, whether you like mechanical skill expression, point and click simplicity, or something in between, there's a new champion that interests you. For example, with Vex, we wanted to create a champion that was fairly easy to pick up, and we're happy to see she's hitting that mark. But beyond just how complex a champion is to play, there's also how difficult they are to understand. We want new champions to have unique gameplay, but you shouldn't need a win.
So far, they're not hitting the points that any of us care about, and maybe that's on purpose. Obviously, this is a scripted thing that she's saying. So far, they've covered Samira, who, yes, has her issues, but that is an example of a champion that I would say many people don't have problems with now because, yes, they have toned her down. Vex, on average, I think a lot of people don't have problems with Vex. Maybe her numbers need to be toned down. She can one-shot things without even being fed sometimes. If they don't mention Viego in this little bit about new champion balance, if they don't mention Yone in this champion balance, then they are just ignoring the issue. Because those two, I would say specifically, are among the higher tier of when people are talking about new champion balance. And I will add the point. When we do talk about the craziness of Season 11, of like, oh, these champions are so annoying, Aurelia, Silas, Cat, whatever it may be, a lot of it isn't the champion. And I would admit that. It's annoying, and sometimes you may take the frustration out going, oh, Aurelia's so dumb. There is skill expression to a lot of these champion kits. What makes them absurd, or what makes it annoying or broken or whatever it may be, is not actually the champion, it's the new items. Like, the new items are so fundamentally broken that that's what's enabling these champions to basically be no-tier skill because they're just one-shotting you or two-shotting you. And you're like, well, that was fun, because, yeah, you can't practically play the game. Or there's a Yone that's gone 0-6 in lane phase, he completes his second crit item, and suddenly he can get a Pentakill. Like, or Viego, same thing. He feeds, but then he gets an ultimate reset on the go, he kills everybody with the healing that's in the game. So if she's, like, if you look down here, this is the little bit left that she's talking about new balance, or new champion balance. If Yone and Viego's not mentioned, I'll be mentioning it probably on Tuesday if the topic comes up.
Wiki to know how to play with or against them. Learning counterplay is a skill test we do think is important.
There's no counterplay to getting one shot by an Aurelia or Viego.
This clarity is something we haven't always hit the mark on, especially with champions like Aphelios, who not only has a complex kit, but was also lacking UI clarity when he was released. Yep. Designing new champions is a constant balance between making something that's exciting, has clear counterplay, and isn't confusing. We're still trying to find that line, but we want to get to a spot where new champions aren't just numerically balanced, but that you all feel they're fair to play against.
That's the point. Is Riot, who's turned into just a data company and not a human company, by the feel of balance. And if any of the devs are listening to this and that hurts, again, I respect the individuals as people. I'm sure they're wonderful, and I feel for them. They have a hard job. I wouldn't want it. But it feels that Riot only goes off data. Like, they're just number crunchers now. They're not the feel of the game. They've lost that. It does feel, you know, that key word, that if these people played the game, at least to a pretty good level, Aurelia would not be in her current state. Viego would not be annoying as much as he is. Yone wouldn't be as annoying. There's a reason why these key champions keep coming up of enjoyment. It's the old argument when certainly T was a game dev of his champions are cool. Like, there's no doubt some of his champs are the coolest in League. But he, and I think was quoted to say, he never cared about the people that played against his champion. He only cared about the people that played the champion. And that seems more apparent now across the whole League of Legends universe in terms of what champions are in the game, not just certainly T champions. And I think that is the problem. You need to have enjoyment whether you're playing against a champion or playing a champion or playing against a champion. There is no enjoyment playing against a Viego and you just get one shot and then he transforms into somebody with being immune and then can kill 3 other people, or Yone E-ing half a screen away, one-shotting you and then bouncing back to safety like he just did a Zed and an Echo ultimate in one go, and it's not even his ultimate. Like, there's enjoyment levels that need to be considered, and not all of that goes off win rate. Again, win rate is that really dumb numerical value that nobody should take that seriously. I've said it for ages. Azir was the most broken champion in the game when he had a 44% win rate. Ryze has a 44% win rate right now and is being one of the heavy contested picks of Worlds. If that was true, that you balance to win rate, those champions would never be picked. But because that's not the value that actually is their strength, there's under that. Like, the average player, even if you're using the platinum roughly rating that generically platinum, I think it's platinum 2 and above is the win rate. That is the overall win rate that we see on all the different websites. If we're completely honest, and I'll be the first one to admit, platinum 2 is not that good when it comes to balancing a game well. Like, it just isn't. I've obviously got some accounts in Diamond 2 right now. I've got accounts near a platinum. You see terrible play in high platinum, like you do. And to balance a game off that, to trust an overall win rate that is being used in that numerical from platinum 2 and stuff, it's not on. And sometimes, again, the feel is important. And that's what Riot, I think, has really missed the mark on in the last year or two, is they're just data crunchers rather than the feel of the game. So that's what I would say.
This season, we've seen a wide variety of picks in every role. We've also seen a healthy improvement in diversity of playstyles across roles, especially in jungle and top lane. Some of this is due to direct champion changes, such as the kit adjustments that enable picks like Jungle Darius, Brand, and Morgana.
Which again,
New
did people
items
ask
like
for?
Anathema's Change and Hullbreaker have also had a positive impact, especially in top lane where we're seeing a ton of champion diversity. And finally, we know that some champion classes have been struggling after the item system update, and we've been working on some solutions to help them out. And this brings us to our plans for preseason. With that, I'm going to hand things off to Brightmoon. We'll go more in depth.
I think Brightmoon, he might be in the dev meeting on Tuesday, maybe.
Hey everyone, I'm Brightmoon, the lead producer of gameplay on League of Legends. League is like a house. Sometimes we need to do a big renovation to keep it working well, like when we overhauled the item system.
Ooh.
And sometimes we just need to add some new furniture.
Oh, dude, I thought he was about... Sometimes we missed the mark. That's what I think he was about to say. And I was like, oh, the Reaver! It's not happening, is it?
We're sprucing things up with improvements to our existing systems, like items, runes, and the Elemental Rift. Let's start with our plans for items. While some champions and classes have lots of build options, we've still got others that don't feel like they've got a mythic or legendary that really speaks to them. So we're going to be adding some new items and tweaking some others. This will include 2 new mythic items. The first one is a support tank item, perfect for champions that want to get aggressive and charge into the middle of a fight. When you immobilize an enemy champion, all nearby enemies will take increased damage from your team for a short period of time.
Ooh.
The second new mythic item is built for mages who are looking for a little more survivability. It grants damage reduction that lingers for a few seconds after you get hit, and while the protection holds, you'll also get ability haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic that helps them survive a dive rather than pile on extra damage.
I'm gonna be honest. First impressions, yay, mages more survivability. I like mages. What about just toning down the damage in the game? Like, I think it's fine that mages can get one-shot, by the way, but it's so consistent to one-shot mages now that you can just do a very basic combo and an assassin, a basic one. You don't have to outplay a mage. You can just do a very basic combo and they're dead. If it was actually that the damage was toned down, that you actually had to play to outplay instead of just doing a basic combo, then you don't need this item. Like, a mage would have to be careful and survive and miss a bit, like, dodge things. But nowadays, an assassin can miss half their kit, but he'll still kill a mage. Like, you just will, because the damage is that high. So I don't know if they're ever going to say, like, oh yeah, we're just going to tone down the damage, because surely a lot of the problems in the game, I think, is just because the damage is too high. So, yeah.
When we updated League's item system, we wanted to give every champion strategic choices in every game. We still think that's the right goal for Mythics, but our thinking has changed when it comes to legendary items. We think it's okay if some champions build the same legendary in most games, if it's a perfect fit. But we also want you to have plenty of options, which is why we're improving legendaries for mages, assassins, and tanks.
Assassins.
For example, assassins can look forward to a new legendary item that gives ability haste, and also refunds a portion of their ultimate's cooldown with enemy takedowns.
Why do we need that?
Tanks that can never get enough
What?
mana will be happy with a new
It's
legendary
been an
item
assassin meta
that
the whole
grants bonus
season.
health based on total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy. And finally, mages who are tired of being denied their hard-earned kills can rejoice. They'll be receiving a new legendary that grants magic pen against recently shielded enemies.
Ooh.
As
Serpent's
for
Fang.
runes, we think there are some good targeted changes we need to make. Most of all, we feel the Inspiration Tree's identity has been pretty unclear, and we'd like to broaden its keystone use cases. For example, we're reworking Glacial Augment to double down on its fantasy of slowing down enemies.
Oh, good.
We're also making some modifications to Lethal Tempo to lean into its attack speed fantasy and give it a more distinct use case in the Precision tree. Up next are bounties. Champion bounties give teams who are behind a way to get back into the game without being a straight shot to victory. And this year, we're adding a second way for teams to try and make a comeback. Objective bounties will work like champion bounties, except you cash them in by taking map objectives, like towers or Baron. They ramp up slowly when the enemy team lead grows, and the bounty is shared with your whole team, regardless of who claimed it. Taking objectives really is the best way to come back when you're behind, so we want to help make that a clearer and more rewarding strategy.
Said this for years.
That said, if a team is really far ahead, objective bounties won't change that. Being the better team should always get you a win. So we'll be watching the new bounty system closely to keep things in check.
I'm fine with that.
Finally, let's talk about our biggest addition this preseason, dragons. We really like how each dragon creates unique terrain, grants powerful buffs,
More changes.
and adds more strategy to the mid and late game. So this preseason, we're adding 2 more.
What?
Up first is the Hextech Dragon. When your team defeats it, you'll all gain additional ability haste and attack speed. And if you claim the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works kind of like Static Shiv's passive. When this dragon takes over the rift, it creates Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations across the map.
What?
The second dragon joining the party is Hextech's darker sibling, the Chemtech Drake. When you slay it, your team will deal increased damage when your HP is low, letting you turn around those close team fights.
Oh.
This dragon soul provides a second chance at life. Well, sort of. When you die, you'll enter a zombie state, where you can still cast abilities and continue fighting when you'd normally be looking at a gray screen.
Oh, I hate that.
And when the Chemtech Dragon putrefies the map, it creates camouflage zones in fixed locations.
Oh, no.
These dragons might seem more impactful than the current ones, and, well, they are. Our goal is to add more unique encounters and meaningful strategy to the mid and late game. That said, these are some pretty big changes.
No.
We're ready to adjust if they're making too much.
Not that Chem one. The other one's fine.
You can expect to see all of these changes on PvE in a couple of weeks, and we'll be looking for your feedback in the months ahead.
Not the Chem one. That's my feedback. Done.
Outside of preseason, something we've heard from all of you is that you'd like more ways to express yourself and your achievements.
This
in the
looks
week.
good.
For
If it's
some
not
of you,
paid.
Ranked is how you define your progress, and that's great. We don't want to change that. But for those of you who aren't focused on the rank climb, there aren't great ways to express your own progress.
Agree.
Champion Mastery and Eternals help you show off your
Both are
skills on a
pointless.
particular champ,
No, they don't.
but they don't tell the story of your broader League legacy. The new challenges system should achieve just that. Challenges rank up over time, showcasing your increasing mastery and legacy across a bunch of different systems, modes, and gameplay,
Whoa.
making it a little different than just a standard achievement.
ARAM, that one is.
We want to highlight not just your rank and champion mastery,
I mean, that
but
looks
also your
good.
inventiveness, breadth of play styles, collection, and everything else in between.
Yeah.
Want to showcase your knack for never dying in ARAM? Or how great you are at killing minions in SR in the first 10
Oh,
minutes?
God, that's not me.
Maybe you've collected over 100 champions.
I
or
got
love
them all.
participating in events.
Yep.
All of this is now
I have
possible
all
to
the
track
skins. Does
and
that count?
display your progress with challenges.
That looks good.
You'll get the first glimpse of challenges when they hit PvE next month.
Okay.
And the full system
What
will
else we
launch
got?
early next year.
Yeah.
That's all I have to share with you today. Thanks so
All
much
right.
for watching.
Just pause quick. So that was him. I'm okay with a lot of this stuff, maybe, I would say. So item-wise, no mention that the damage is too high, which worries me. New legendaries and changing legendaries. Obviously, we'll get more info. All I would say to that is I actually think there's enough items in the game, and it's harder to balance the game the more stuff's in it. Like, you know, it's not the balance team's fault by any means, because Riot needs to make money on a free-to-play game, but the more champions you have in the game, the more items you have in the game, the more content's in the game, the harder the game becomes to balance. I think there's enough items, personally. Maybe some need adjustment, sure, but adding new items I don't think is the problem. I think adjusting the current ones, if they're wanting to keep with these, apparently they do, is more the better thing to do, in my opinion. And again, as I said earlier, it keeps going back to it, just tone down the damage. Bring skill back to the game by toning down the damage. I don't think that's too hard to ask or even work out. Other than that, the dragons, the Hex one, Hex, whatever, not Hextech. Hextech one looks good. The Chem Tank one, that looks awful. So, I've said for a while, like, I want to be rewarded for skill in League again. And there's no reward that, oh, I managed to kill their AD carry. Yay, got him. They've just revived. That isn't a GA. So they haven't, decided to buy a GA for that reason. And they just managed to zombie revive and then kill me back because I've used my full mage burst, let's say, to kill the AD carry. I've used my burst. They're dead. I've done it. My job is complete. And then they zombie respawn and then kill me. That's not healthy. Secondly, the areas of invisibility or camouflage, stop giving champion level mechanics to things that aren't champion kits. This is my biggest gripe with also the new items. Why is Jhin, who I love, one of my favourite champions, an immobile AD carry, glass cannon AD carry? His whole kit was designed to the fact he does insanely high damage being static. Why does he now have a mobility item, Gale Force, that makes his whole kit not that? It's stupid. It's really dumb. And that's the same thing with this. It's a dragon that changes the map to give a champion level mechanic. The people that should be more annoyed by this, not even me, I don't play stealth champions. I don't like stealth. Funny that. But if you're a camo champion, surely you don't like this because everyone now will be a camo champion in those areas. Like, it takes away your champion's identity is a camo champion, but now every champion will be a camo champion. That's the point. Like, that's what I don't like. It's just takes away champion identity. Like, oh, I dislike it so much. Like, am I the only one? I don't know. I don't think so, but
And here's Safe Locked again to talk about game modes.
Hello. What now?
When it comes to game modes, one thing we've been hearing from you all is that you'd like more variety in the modes we bring back alongside events. So let's talk about it.
Dominion.
To start, we actually agree that the existing rotation of game modes can make some of the most popular modes like Earth and One for All feel a bit stale.
Yeah.
Some of you have asked why we just don't bring back some of our other older game modes like Star Guardian Invasion or Ascension.
They've always said the player number goes down.
The answer is that bringing back old modes isn't as easy as flipping a switch. League is constantly changing, which means all of our existing modes require constant upkeep. For example, when we released Yuumi, we had to figure out how she'd function in One for All. What happens when a Yuumi attaches to a Yuumi who is attached to a Yuumi? Because of upkeep like this, we have to be very selective about the modes we maintain. And right now, there are just too few popular modes that feel worth the investment compared to making brand new modes or updating more resonant ones for you. We've mentioned this before, but we think the sweet spot for game modes are ones that amplify champion fantasies and really build on what you love about your champs and Summoner's Rift. So moving forward, we're focusing on adding more game modes that hit this goal.
Okay. I missed threes.
Let's talk about Ultimate Spellbook. First and foremost, you all seem to really love this one.
It was good.
It was one of our highest engagement modes ever, second only to Earth. And beyond popularity, we're super happy with how long you spent making oversized champions with Cho'Gath Salt. And by that we mean the total amount of time you spent in Ultimate Spellbook stayed high throughout the event.
Yeah.
That gives us confidence that it's worth keeping around. That said, there are some clear areas of feedback that we want to address. Junglers were forced to take Smite and another ultimate, which meant they couldn't choose another summoner spell. They also missed out on a lot of exciting plays during the laning phase because they were stuck clearing camps. Beyond that, we also heard that games started to feel a little repetitive due to the small number of available ultimates.
Yep.
And we agree. So, this winter, we'll be bringing back Ultimate Spellbook with a bigger ult pool. We'll also be making some adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience in Ultimate Spellbook is just as fun as everyone else's. If you'd like to learn more about our approach to game modes, you can check out the dev blog that's coming out today. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you're enjoying Worlds as much as we are, and for any pros watching, once again, please pick a Mumu.
What? Why? What's the meme with a Mumu? Have I missed something? Like, they made him overpowered. Anyway, alright. Anyway, so, final thoughts. Obviously, as I mentioned, I have a meeting that I'm sure it's just going to be talking about this, and it'll be a bit of a back and forth, probably. Right, how do I say? I love League. Let's just start with that. I've played this game for 10 plus years. I've decided to be a content creator, mainly as a sole content creator for League of Legends. I've attached myself to this game, you could say, so I care about it a lot. As I mentioned, Season 11 has been my least favourite season of all time, more than Season 6 and 9, which may surprise some people. And it's because of the points that I've made throughout this video, is the damage is too high, and this video, maybe they're trying to keep a positive note to it, which is fair, but it does concern me to some degree that there hasn't even been a mention of the damage is high at all. It is a bit of a point for me that I know so many friends of mine that have quit playing the game because of this season. My community, just the other day, I was like, right, chat, we had 400 people watching, which is not, it's a lot of people, not a crazy amount of people. I was like, how many of you have quit playing this season because of everything that's happened, new items, damage, etc.? At least 30 people instantly, the next 30 seconds, like, yeah, I've quit. 30 people instantly saying that. It's quite a lot of people, in just my very small, little question, a one-off question. And my friends don't want to play the game. The old Huzzy and Friends, that old series, I'd love to do that again. They won't play. They are not interested to play with the current state of the game at all. It's completely gone. So maybe I'm a bit more biased towards not liking it because I've been impacted a lot by it. But this video, it doesn't give me a lot of hope in that aspect because I would have hoped Riot would have addressed it and just one-off sentence of the damage is high, we're going to look into it. Just that would have given me a bit of hope, Other than that, the new champion balance, the only positive I would take away from it is Riot's actually talking about that topic now. I think they've tried to ignore it for months and months and months, that the community has been screaming about these champions are so unfun to play against. And Riot will be looking with the way that they balance the game going, but 47% win rate. What do you mean Yone's not good? Or what do you mean he's overpowered? It's not that word, overpowered. It's enjoyment. That's the key. It's a video game. It's supposed to be fun. And it's not fun to play against a lot of the modern champions. It just isn't. Like, it's just straight up. It's not even just the modern champion. It's not fun to play against a lot of the things with the new items. The fun aspect, at least for me and many people, has been taken away a lot in Season 11. I try still to find joy in the game, and I still do occasionally. I have games that I'm laughing my head off. But it has nothing to do with the new items. It has nothing to do a lot of the time with the new champions. And yes, I have had fun with Vex recently, but it's to do with the gameplay. And that's the more important thing. That is League of Legends to me. It's not items. It's not stats. It's not win rates. It's gameplay. And I think Riot's kind of forgotten that a little bit over the way because they're prioritizing items and stats over enjoyment of gameplay. So that's what I would hope they would want to bring back. Again, the dragons, it's not what I was expecting. I personally was expecting them to keep the dragons that they've got, but make it more apparent on the map which one it is, make it more bigger changes, bigger terrain changes, make the whole map set on fire or something, The fact that they're just adding 2 new dragons is not what I was expecting. One, obviously the Hextech one that's giving teleport points around the map. It's a bit of a gimmick, which I don't love. I don't love gimmicks. And the other one, the Chem Tank one, to me sounds awful. The zombie revive and then the camouflage area. That seems the ultimate gimmick dragon ever. So no, not a fan of that. Obviously it won't be happening in every game. Each dragon now, there'll be 6 dragons, so it'll be less likely to get each dragon moving forward unless Riot tone up the amount, percentage that you could get one of the 2 new dragons. But I don't know. Overall, I'm mixed about it. I think I was always going to be mixed about no matter what they said, unless they literally were like, we're reverting everything, which they never were going to do. So I think it's healthy to be in a state of mixed feelings. I will be looking forward to having a good chat with them next week. And as I mentioned, the results of that, I will update you and bring you up on when I'm allowed. Again, I think I'm allowed to say that I've actually got one of these meetings. It's about what they've literally just spoken about here. But I'll wait until I'm officially told, yep, you're allowed to discuss the meeting. I'll tell you guys when I can what we actually discuss. And trust me, I love this game. I want this game to thrive and succeed, as we all do. I will be asking a lot of questions if I can. That's my point. Sometimes they say no questions. But if they go, right, question time, I am going to go there prepared with questions. And I'll say, if you guys have questions, put them in the comment section. And the ones that I find interesting, I will maybe add to my notebook and ask them as well. So I can kind of report back. So, let me know what you think of this. Happy, not happy, hopeful, not hopeful. Let me know. And that'll be interesting. But anyway, that's going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to